Hey everybody, welcome to the Weekend Wrap, our look back at the MLS weekend. Jonah Friedman here with armchair analyst Matt Doyle. And Matt, some big results this past weekend. Let's start them off with New York Red Bulls winning a wild one in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's a big rivalry. It's certainly grown over the past 3 years. And I think this is probably the best game of the series. Philadelphia behind Freddie Adu, spectacular first half, and then that controversial second yellow card. Should he have been sent off? Should he have stayed on? It's going to be debated all week, I think. But even for the first 20 minutes of the second half, Philly carried the game, and then Hans Baca made a couple of switches. New York got right back into it, and then Kenny Cooper provided the game winner, and you got to hand it to him. Even with Thierry Henry out, he has been effective. 3-2 win for the Red Bulls. They'll take that very happily back up to Harrison. On the other side of the continent, number 2 saw Seattle host Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, and this was a battle for the top of the West here. And Matt, I hate to give you more credit, but this played out exactly as you thought it was going to be. It was a lot tighter match than most of us thought. The most impressive thing to me was watching how James Olave just almost literally swallowed up Freddie Montero, arguably the hottest guy in MLS. He had 2 shots on goal all game, was a non-factor in this one. RSL really content to kind of sit back and wait for their chances, and 5 minutes out of halftime, they got it. Fabian Espindola with a beautiful move. Got the goal, became the all-time leading scorer in franchise history. Also celebrating the birth of his newborn son. He gave all the credit and motivation to that goal to his son, so good on him. And RSL getting out of there with the win and taking over sole possession, enforcing their position in sole possession of first place out west, and also snapping the Sounders' 6-game win streak in the process. RSL now arguably the hottest team in MLS. They are unbeaten in 5 straight, sitting pretty on top of the West.
And don't forget to check the power rankings tomorrow.
All right, our top game of the weekend, the big opener at BBVA Compass Stadium in sweltering Houston, and the home team got the win.
Yeah, this game is obviously going to be remembered for Brad Davis producing an absolute golazo. What better way to ring in a brand new stadium than with a goal like that? But I think Houston showed a lot of why people have fancied them this year to be one of the tougher teams in the Eastern Conference. They put together a lot of great scoring chances. They were always dangerous on set pieces. The chances didn't fall, but they're there, and eventually they're gonna. And even better for the men in orange is that Jeff Cameron and Bobby Boswell finally looked like that tandem down the stretch in 2011 that led them to MLS Cup final. For DC, Brandon McDonald, just week after week, improving, getting more and more used to that central defensive role, really becoming a leader back there. They didn't get the win, but they're showing every time out that they have plenty to build around, and they're a team in the Eastern Conference that's going to be reckoned with as the season wears on.
Taking a look at the top performers of the weekend, you got to hand it to Brad Davis, scoring the first ever goal at BBVA Compass Stadium. Lee Nguyen just destroying his former team with 2 goals and an assist on Vancouver in that big win for New England. And, of course, you can't forget Kenny Cooper scoring 2 goals last week. He's now got 9 on the year. Yeah,
Cooper has been – I mean, there were questions when Henry went down. Could he keep it up? Because he didn't have a good year last year in Portland. Well, he's answered him pretty emphatically in Henry's absence. And then Brad Davis not only scoring the goal, but being so active and finally looking healthy for the first time really this season. It's got to be a relief to Houston fans. And Lee Nguyen, I mean – he played pissed off, and he scored a couple, one great goal, made a bunch of great plays in midfield, and deserved winner of Player of the Week. Honorable mention though to Philly's Leonard Pahoy. He did flub 1 breakaway, but he did get 2 goals, and that will have Philly fans slightly more optimistic heading into the rest of their season.
Taking a look at how this weekend affected the standings, New York, hot. 4 wins in a row. They have overtaken Sporting Kansas City for first place in the East. They are now a point ahead of Sporting, who have lost 3 in a row. And look who's coming up right behind them, Chicago, with 15 points, coming up fast. Out west, Real Salt Lake still on top, 3 points ahead of San Jose. San Jose only getting the point against Chivas, so they maintain pace. They've still got a couple games in hand on RSL, but still chasing. Seattle still trailing, and Vancouver directly behind them. That'll do it for us. Don't forget to check back all week on the site. There's a busy week, lots of midweek games. Another game at Houston's BBVA Compass Stadium against Portland on Tuesday. We'll check back with you on Friday.